Beep, beep. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Gridiron Weekly. Here with the two best co-hosts any man could ask. They hug, they love, they do all the things you want them to do. And man, they know football too. Just kidding. John knows how to pound that net. If you ever seen him pound the net, it's something that you have to take to the Guinness Book of World Records because he can pound it. The more special needs on
only,
the floor,
but only against the deaf, though. I might.
Right? Yeah. Yes.
Sorry for a little bit of sickness we've had. We've been a little.
Chino pounds the deaf,
and the
He
deaf
did.
pounds the deaf. Oh my God,
That was my greatest game ever.
Still one of the best stories ever. All right, so children, we're here again. We're gonna have a great night, and guess what?
Couldn't communicate out there. Hey, you got him. No, you got him. No, they couldn't communicate.
They couldn't get through a screen. They wouldn't know if a screen was coming.
Look, clap every time there's a screen. There he is. We got him now.
All right, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Music clapper. What we're gonna do tonight? We're gonna remember at the end of the show to pick the UFL games because they went undefeated last week. Bill and John did.
Oh, yeah.
They picked after the games were over, so it made it easier. Anyway, all right, we're continuing on our draft. The NFL draft is now exactly 2 weeks away. This time, in 2 weeks, we're gonna do our rapid fire mock draft, and we're gonna kill it. So up today, first, gentlemen, we have. I know, Bill, you say you don't know all of them, but you know a couple of these. We're gonna start off with the wide receiver group. All right, there's 4 top ones I think that are probably worthwhile of a first-round pick. I think there's only 4. So we know who they are. They are Tesh McMillan. I mean, we could say his whole name, but why? Matthew Golden, Luther Burden III, and Emeka Egbuka. And that's the way they're ranked. McMillan's 1, Golden's the second-ranked one, followed by Burden and Emeka Egbuka. All right, so we're going to start with John. Give me your who you think the top wide receiver, and here's the most interesting question. When do you think the receivers start coming off the board? Go ahead, John. You start us off.
Oh. Now, we don't know what Travis Hunter's going to be. So,
correct.
McMillan, I mean, I'm trying to, you know what? I don't think he goes in the top 10. I'm not sure where I think I see him going. That's a great question. I will say this. I think by looking at the guy, Golden, the ones you named, I do like him. I like the size. I like the ability to, being 6'5" and being athletic. It's just, I mean, I don't know how you can not take that at all time. Whenever there's whenever you got that, you're looking at that. It's got to go with the height to me in the wide receiver position because it's just such a big difference from the 6'1" guy trying to go up and make a contested catch, which he can't. McMillan, where's he go, man?
That's the thing. I struggled with that today. I could not figure out where in the world, where he's going to go. I couldn't.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the teams. I can't.
You look at it right now. Sugar. What about Jacksonville?
Yeah,
at 5.
Yeah,
it's too high for wideout.
That might be too. Yeah, I think that'd be too high. For me, I would assume after you got all those guys, all the different things, offensive line and running backs, even for them.
What about Carolina?
That's probably about right. Starting there, I think. I don't know what you think, Bill. Starting at about 8. I would think so. That sounds good. Even the 49ers at 11.
Yeah. I'm curious to see.
Yeah.
What do the Niners think? What do you think the Niners do?
Well,
they got Ayuk coming back off the injury. They got Bill's favorite player up there, and they still have what's his name playing as well. So, I mean, they have. I don't think they're that far. Do you think they go wide out? What do you think?
They could, right? I mean, I could see it. It wouldn't surprise me to help out their quarterback. Who probably needs more weapons around him. To continue on his path. But I would think that is where I'm going to go. I'm going to say, that's what I was thinking in my mind when you asked. I was thinking around 11 in that group. 8's good too. I could see the Panthers could do something like that.
Yeah. It'll be quite interesting to see. Billy Boy, what do you got?
I mean, I like Luther Burden the third. I like him probably out of all of them. He's a little. I'd like him to be a little bit taller. I wish, he's 5'11", I think, but he kind of reminds me of Debo. He kind of reminds me of a Debo Samuel. I could see him being taken in the first round. I could see the Steelers maybe even looking at him. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
At 21. Yeah, no, I'm not going to argue that point. I think that might be right. So
Probably Shurda or Sanders if he's available at 21 at this point.
right. I mean,
No, but I mean he's come. You know, he's like I said, he really reminds me a lot of Debo because of that being 5'11". I think he's like 205. So you know, from that standpoint, he's kind of like that compact running back like frame.
yeah.
You know, he's got good quickness. You know, he can accelerate pretty good. You know, and he's got some grit, and he's pretty strong too as well. So
Yeah, he's a very interesting prospect. Golden, I think, is as well. I'm just curious. Do you think could it possibly happen, Billy?
I like Golden as well. I like Golden as well. So,
But do you think it could possibly happen that none of these guys go in the first round? Would that surprise
it could
you?
be. Yeah,
I'd be surprised.
I'd be surprised. These guys are going to go, I think, in the first round.
Yeah.
Golden definitely, Burden I think definitely first rounder. Maybe even, definitely first rounder. I mean, guys like Harris,
Abuka.
I think he's probably a second rounder.
Really?
I think he could be. I think he's a top 50. He's in around a top 50 somewhere. But
John,
He
what do you
reminds-
think about that? You're a Ohio State guy.
Well, you know, he does make contested catches, but he's like it's all the same players. Take Marvin Harrison aside. Garrett Wilson, Smith and Jigba, Olave, and him. They all are kind of the same guy in my eyes, especially Olave and him.
Yeah.
Him and Olave remind me of the same. And I guess if he's Olave, that won't be bad because it'd be about 70 catches or whatever. You know, none of those guys have really broken, in my mind, out yet. Like, none of them have really done much. I mean, they've done a lot. They played well, but they're just kind of solid. Not Garrett Wilson hasn't had many, I think, opportunities with quarterbacks. But
Right.
and Marvin Harrison, I don't know what happened for him. But no, I like Abu. I like him. I could see him going late. I could see the Bills maybe looking at him.
Yeah. What about
possibly?
What do you think about Smith and Jigba in Seattle? Think he's breaking out or?
Well, who's he got with him now? Who went over there? Cooper Kupp, right?
Your boy Darnold.
Yeah, he's there. Yeah. Well, no, that's all right. He can do some damage.
Yeah.
Until the games are important.
Buka, he kind of reminds me of Jackson Smith and Jigba in a way too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good point you had. That they're all the exact same person, just different names.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Silky smooth route runner, you know,
and that's why our guy.
Feet.
And that's why Fields had all three of them at one time. So he was very difficult as a quarterback, Justin Fields, to figure him out with all of that. So
you're right. Yeah, I didn't think about that either. Wow.
He had them all at one point.
Now, what do you think about? Here's a question for y'all. We'll give this one to Billy to fire the first shot. Billy, Matthew Golden ran a 4.2940. Pretty decent size, 5'11" flat, 191. What do you think? You think his speed's real? Do you think it's track speed?
Oh, it's real.
Yeah,
it's definitely real. It's you can't fake speed. I mean, that's
does that change your mind?
Unless you got rockets on your cleats, you can't fake speed. No.
Do you think he goes before Emeka or goes after, or where do they go?
Oh, he's going to go before Emeka for sure. He's going to go before.
It's interesting to look at the draft order, though. You look, it gets kind of wonky because you figure Tennessee's quarterback, Cleveland's defense, New York's defense, the Patriots are lying, Jaguars are probably lying. What do the Raiders do? Do they go?
I'll tell you another guy, that a lot of people I think are overlooking is Trey Harris, man.
Yeah.
At Ole Miss.
I mean, that dude's 6'3", 210. I mean, if you want to compare somebody, I compared to the guy that my Steelers just signed, a guy by the name of DK Metcalf.
Same school too.
Size, speed, right? Yeah,
it's a good one. Yeah,
I would say Trey Harris to me is the most. I would say you could argue he's the most physically gifted wideout in this class.
Does his speed scare you? He only ran a 4.54.
Yeah.
It's the same speed.
You know what concerns me? His durability. He's been injured some. That's what concerns me about
But
it.
DK did too. He went through Ole Miss injured a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and he
He's
had
a,
Jackson Dart thrown to him. So I mean, that's
bigger wide out, longer strides. You know, guy that can get behind the defense quick. You know, vertical routes. You know, he's destroying undersized quarterbacks. You know, especially on short throws. You know, and just
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean that the 40 is interesting though to see what it where it takes people.
Oh yeah,
because I see that 40 time. I'm looking at the top 40 for the wideouts. Starts with Golden, who ran a ridiculous 4.29, and then you get Thornton Jr. out of Tennessee, who's the 23rd overall. He ran a 4.3 flat.
Right.
You know, so I mean, you got some speed burners here. I mean, the problem is they're all lower ranked. So do you buy that speed's the thing? Because the NFL is enamored with speed.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing for sure. No doubt about that.
Yeah, there looks to be some interesting prospects with a lot of speed. Lane out of Virginia Tech, 4.34. I mean, these are blazing fast times.
But you know, I think that there's a difference in speed. You know, there's different levels of speed. Some guys have explosive speed. You know, some guys have more
straight line,
more kind of straight line endurance speed. You know,
another excellent point, Billy, because I'm looking at
some guys, just because you have stellar speed, 4.29, like you said, that doesn't mean you have the best footwork, though.
True.
You know, that doesn't mean you run efficient routes, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're doesn't mean you can good body control and you can run the short routes in those intermediate zones and run them to a T, and like I said, sometimes explosive speed, especially if you're a slot wide out, that explosive speed helps you out, I think.
Yeah, no doubt about
Definitely.
that. You inspired me to look at their first 10, the first 10 yards of the 40. So the fastest guy, his first 10 yards was 1.47. And you're the guy we're talking about, Trey Harris, was 1.57, so 1/10 of a second off. Still pretty good for a big man.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that's I mean they look at those numbers, man. They look at those numbers because that even though as minuscule as that is, that translate to a lot on the NFL gridiron.
Yeah, but to your point though, I mean he's a big boy. You're looking at 6'2",
he's like
2 and third and 205 pounds. But I didn't realize how big McMillan is. Holy Moses, back 6'4", 213.
Yeah, he's been another big one.
4.53, 1.58, 10. I mean, these are some impressive. I mean, I'm just curious to see when the run is, because there's always a run. When
26
the first wideout.
26 touchdowns in 37 games, McMillan.
Yeah, he was a beast. They just didn't have enough to back him up.
Yeah, he seems to have been the number one guy for as long as the whole season. I never, there's been no one else.
Yeah. And Billy, what do you make about Beck from TCU with his brother? Do you think he's a guy who is worthy of a pick?
I do. I like Jack. I think he is. What's Besh? Beck? Besh? Pronounced Besh. I think it's Besh, isn't it? Isn't it pronounced Besh?
It probably could be. It looks that way.
Yeah, I think it's Besh.
Yeah. He's 6'1", just over 6'1".
214. Yeah.
Another big body.
Yeah.
I mean, he showed out a little bit at the
I was going to say he was MVP, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So,
right.
I mean, but and the other one is, I mean, any other you guys read of any other, sleepers? Anybody think of any sleepers other than the two I mentioned?
I think Tez Johnson, you can make an argument from him. He's little. I mean, he's little.
154 pounds.
Yeah. But I mean, I like him.
I do. That's tough to get. Go ahead, John.
No, you know what? There's two actually. It was in my mind until then. One of them I'm gonna have to take away Isaiah Bond, but because we don't know what's going to happen to him.
Right.
And then the guy from TCU, Williams, and I didn't know who he was, and I was just looking for and I was looking
Another
for
big
size.
guy.
I'm like,
Another
let
big
me see
guy.
what's happening. I looked, I watched, I've been reading. He's somebody who I think could be a
He's
sleeper.
I tell you what, you put maybe 5-10 more pounds on that guy. That guy's a tight end.
Right? Yeah.
You know,
Right.
he's 6'4", 225. You know,
Yeah, you do have. I mean, the kid from Virginia Tech, Jalen Lane, 5'9", 191, ran a 4.34.
Jeez.
These are blazing times. A kid from
but I like.
Baylor.
I know that Tez Johnson. He's like 5'9". They had him listed at 5'9", 156. Little. I mean,
Jeez.
he's put some weight on. But when you look at Oregon, a lot of creativity in that offense. A lot of like different alignments and motion that they used, kind of like you see in the NFL. And he really shined in that type of offense. Smaller, quicker, able to attack space. Kind of like who he kind of reminds you like a Tank Dell. Tank Dell's he's like 5'10". I think he's maybe buck 65.
Oh,
I
thought he was bigger. I thought he was closer to 2. Let's look it up while you're talking. Keep going.
No, he's like Tank Dell's like 5'10", 165. I tell you another guy I'd compare it to is Tutu Atwell. Tutu Atwell, 5'9", 165. I mean,
yeah, Tank Dell is that small. You're right, Bill. He's 165.
Yeah, he's a little guy. Tutu Atwell, another guy that's little. Hamler, he's another guy. KJ Hamler, he's a 5'9", buck 70 something, 178.
Your guy on your team, Calvin Austin.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I like Tez Johnson. I really do. I like him. So he's
productive.
good.
You can't beat his productivity.
Yeah.
Right.
He is.
Unbelievable. His productivity is really good. So, I mean, here's the final question. I'm going to start with John. John, how many go in the first round?
I'll
give you an over/under. I'll get to make it easier. Over/under 4.
Under, I think 3. I was going to say 3.
Billy?
I'm going to go at 4. I think 4 go in the first round.
You're going to give a little push. All right, that's good. That's good. All right, smooth transition. We're going to go to the people who put on a little bit of weight, a little bit of size, and they moved just a little bit inside as opposed to outside. We're going to go to tight ends, the tight end position. Now, here's a little bit of tough one. I'm only coming up with, I think, that are, the top 3 we all know. Tyler Warren, Penn State, Colston Leonard, Loveland from Michigan, and Jason Taylor's kid, Mason Taylor, who's at LSU. He's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And then you have Elijah Rohr in Miami. I don't think he's the old one. I think he's the young one. So, John, you started off with wide receivers. Billy started off with tight ends. There's one probably that's going to go in the top 15, I think. But go ahead, Billy. Start.
Well, obviously, I mean, the number one is Tyler Warren. 6'6", 261. I compare him to a Gronk. He kind of reminds me of a Gronk. Gifted pass catcher too, man. When you look at he was like the focal point, I really believe, last year in Penn State's offense. He really was. I think this guy could be a standout in the NFL. He's got like I said, he's got that size, he's got that strength, he's got agility, he's got, once again, we talk about wideouts having that body control. Tight end's got to have it too. He's got good body control.
Again, where do you think he goes though?
Well, yeah, he's not going in the first round, obviously.
Who?
Well, he could go in the first round. Yeah, he's going in the first round. He's definitely going. He's top 10. Yeah, he's top 10. I'm sorry, I misspoke there. He is top 10. Where do I think he goes? I don't know. Maybe 9, maybe 8.
Yeah, I like that. Right around there. I'm just looking at all.
I meant to say, I'm sorry, I misspoke there. He's definitely going in the top 10. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the draft order and all the mock drafts and everything. I mean, John,
where do you think he would fit? I mean, I look at look at a team that could need him. You know, a lot of teams that could probably need him. But I guess I was kind of thinking of that today. And the New York Jets come to mind. There's somebody that could use a guy like that.
Do you think John at 10 Chicago does anything?
Yeah, I think if he's there, there's a good chance. From everything I read and hear, how much they love him.
Besides
And
Cole Kmet, I mean, they had like 8 tight ends at one time on the team.
Yeah, and Cole Kmet, I don't know. Last year was it was a bad year all the way around, but it was a really strange year for him because he got nothing at all. I mean, it was a terrible season for Cole Kmet. But this guy here, they love him. I know they do. They keep talking. I hear it. I heard Ryan Poles even talk about him, about the whole thing about, he's keep talking about how that place has they need a attitude adjustment over there, and that's the type of guy who could bring that type of play to them. So I think if he's there, the Bears would have a tough. They might still need an offensive lineman, but I don't know if that's a luxury pick for a team like Chicago. I'm not, you know what I mean? But
yeah, but I mean that would just load up that offense. Holy Moses!
Yeah,
that would be unbelievable on that offense. I mean, that really. I mean, other than offensive line, what do you think they're going for?
It's got to be offensive line. Maybe the edge rusher. There's that guy from Marshall everyone talks about.
Mike Green.
Yeah, I mean, that would be fine. I mean, those are the things. In my mind, it would be offensive line, defensive line, and that's it. I wouldn't be messing with running backs or tight ends there. But they know better than me, and they screw it up a lot better. So they'll probably take something else, I'm sure.
Yeah, that is true. Go ahead, Bill.
Go ahead, what?
Oh, I thought you were just breathing. What about Loveland? Loveland he has a first round grade on him as well. What do we think of Loveland?
Like him.
I love him. He's great.
I love him.
So,
I mean, this takes us back. This takes us back to you have to go back to the board. He's got a first round grade, but I'm not sure. After Tyler Warren, I don't know if anybody takes another tight end in the first round.
I think he's going to be first rounder. I think he's going to be in first rounder.
So here's a query.
I think you got 2 first rounders. Okay, I think you've got Warren, and I think you got Loveland. I think the next guy that I look at is definitely Taylor, but I think he's just outside. I think he's going to be in the second round.
And he's got that pedigree, which the NFL loves. Billy, here's a question for you about Loveland. At number 31, do you think the Kansas City Chiefs prepare for the inevitable exit of Travis Kelce and take Loveland?
They could. I think he'd fit good as in the same different team, same division. I think the Chargers could use a guy like that.
They're picking 22 though. You think that's too high? What do we think?
I don't know.
I think we're in the ballpark.
I think Warren and Loveland go in the first round.
Yeah.
I think Warren, like I said, I think he's definitely in the top 10. I think Warren goes 8. I think he's 8 or he's gonna be in the top 10 for sure. Warren is definitely in the top 10.
Local question for you, Billy. The number 16th rated overall tight end is Gavin Bartholomew. I think he's pretty darn good.
And the Steelers looked at him. They looked at him. They met with him.
He's got a 56th round grade on him.
I like the kid. I love the kid. You know, he's one of them sleeper tight ends for sure.
Yeah, and he moves well. He runs about a 4.6.
He does.
You know, 4.7.
Yeah, and he's tough too. He's a tough kid. He's good hands, all the intangibles. Good size.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think he's him and the kid from Iowa. Because if you don't take an Iowa tight end, you're insane.
Yeah, that's what I say about tight ends. A lot of these tight ends, they got that sneaky athleticism. You know.
Yeah.
They just got that you got most tight end, all tight ends have that height. Usually have long arms, height, but they got that sneaky athleticism that being able to overpower defenders in those short intermediate zones.
Yeah. But I like Bartholomew. I really do. I'm with you, Billy. I think he's a player, man.
Oh, I like him too.
I mean,
he's gonna be a steal for a team.
He is. They're going to get him in the late rounds, and they're going to be glad they did.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not seeing too much more on the tight ends. I mean, those are a couple sleepers. I don't think it's that deep of a draft for tight ends.
No.
I think You get 2 for the first round. That's probably about it.
Yeah.
You know, Taylor, I agree.
And I really believe Loveland will be a first rounder. I really do.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm trying. I don't know where he goes, though. I think he goes lower than he goes higher, though. Is my humble opinion.
I agree.
All right.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
If we keep going down the line, we went from wide receiver to tight end. Now we move to one of the most important positions in football, and that's tackle. So I'm looking at the board here. You've got 4 ranked in the top 23 in the overall. That's Will Campbell, number 1. Armand Membo. He's number 2 out of Mizzou. Josh Simmons, which you're very aware of, out of Ohio State. And then the kid out of Oregon, Josh Connerly Jr. So, John, you're going to start us off this time. We've moved to the tackle position. Who do you think goes number 1? And I see the tackles going probably starting at 4 to the Patriots. What do you think?
Yes, I agree with that. And the one I like the most, and I listened to him talk, and he's pissed off, and that's good, is Will Campbell. I like him. People talk about his arms or whatever length and things like that. And I don't know. I like the kid a lot. Listening to him talk, he's angry, and he seems like, to me, I would take him. If I'm going for a tackle, he's the one I'm taking.
If you're you're at number 4, where I think it would start with that. Patriots, you got to take him, right?
Yeah, they should. They got to be nuts not to. That's teams like that. You know how it goes. Both you guys know. You can't mess around. You have to get the lines right. If they're not right, it doesn't matter who I have trying to catch passes. I don't care how many tight ends, how many wide receivers, running back, have them all. It doesn't matter. Those guys have to be right, and you have to be able to have. You also got to be able to find guys that are going to stay healthy. I don't know how you do that, but there's some teams do it though. I don't know how, but there's teams that the whole 5 offensive line play all year together, and then there's other teams that can't do it for a game. So
and those are the teams that you find in the playoffs.
Yep, all the time.
Those guys are always in the playoffs. I mean, so the first one, where do you think he's going?
Oh, to who? What do you mean, what team?
Yeah,
New England. No, it's got to be New England.
New England.
Got to be a 4. Yeah, would be.
I would think New England has to take one.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the way the draft goes, but I think we're safe to say Cameron Ward goes 1, Abdul Carter goes 2, and then the Giants have to decide whether or not they like the Deion Sanders show.
Right.
That's something they have to look at and see if they like him. If not, they're kind of a wild card. They'll probably take Travis. I would, and then at 4, you have to protect your brand new quarterback, and what better to do? I think he only gave up 1 or 2 sacks his entire time starting at LSU in the freaking SEC, and they had high level competition. I mean, Jaden Daniels loved him. He had nothing but kind words to say about him. So that's definitely going to be the interesting one. Billy, what do you think, Bubba?
Well, I like Kelvin Banks Jr. He's my number 1. I know that
they haven't projected.
No. I'm sorry. Will Campbell. Yeah. I like Will Campbell as my number 1. I'm sorry. And yeah, I mean, I agree with John. He's pissed off. There's been some people that have, questioned his arm length, and some people think that could be an issue. I'll tell you what, though, what he doesn't have an arm length, he makes up for it in his hand technique. They were just saying about that. And I've watched him too. He has probably, I think, the best hands for a tackle in pass protection.
Yeah.
And that's, he's been able to kind of offset that lack of arm length with that, So, if you look at it, he rarely loses in a pass protection scenario.
Yeah.
And a reason because of that, he controls them. He has that sound technique, and and when they try to turn the corner, he dumps their ass.
Right.
So, he's able to do that pretty well. So, he's got like I said, I think he's got the best hands in pass protection. I think Kelvin Banks Jr. has the best feet. I think his footwork's great.
They've got him projected as a guard.
No,
in the next.
and
in the
according to
next-
what I see,
I've seen
he's
both, yeah.
projected as a tackle. But
Yeah.
and I like that Mumbo from Missouri. He's another guy. He's a good run blocker. Him.
Yeah.
My-
He looks like a big
My
boy.
biggest problem with Simmons is the injuries. I don't know if I want that right off the top already. And I mean, I know he's moving along well. No problem. But you're already getting a knee injury before we even get started. That's after what I just said. It would be crazy. I'm going to take another one.
Well, you've seen a lot of Simmons.
Yeah, he's good.
From
Very
Ohio
good. The injuries in my that was why I didn't say him. I think over Will Camp in a lot of ways.
I mean, the guy from Oregon too.
Yeah.
Connerly.
Yeah.
He's good. Ursay from Minnesota is good. I like him.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah, there's some interesting prospects. There's a Fijian kid out there who looks to be a beast. He's not rated highly, but he's a Fijian monster. His last name is Wakeham. He's straight from Fiji. Played rugby. He's 6'9", 343.
Yeah. That Ursay, they were talking about that. He's got one thing he does have is arm length. But they were saying about that. They said, he's really good. When he has full extension, he's really good at maintaining defenders. And they said he was a state shot put competitor. And they said that shoulder strength really helps, obviously with the shot put, but it translates to being a good tackle. And like I said, getting that full extension and being able to control defenders,
Yeah.
So,
I also like, the kid,
especially in zone blocking, So
that's where I think Campbell will excel in zone blocking.
Yeah.
I really think I think he's the cock of the walk. He's the stud. I think he goes to New England. I think that
he's my number one.
Yeah. I think 4 go in the first round. You guys agree?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yes.
You think your Steelers take Simmons at 21, Billy?
They could.
I'm
hearing Shador Sanders is going to 21. If this whole Aaron Rodgers thing, I don't know.
Oh yeah,
we'll see.
That is fascinating. It truly is.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to keep moving down the line, gentlemen. Next, we're going to hit the guards. The top guards on here, this is according to this website. They're all different. Is you got Booker out of Alabama. They have Banks here listed as a guard. They have Ratledge out of Georgia. And they got Jonah Savaiania, another Tongan or Fijian. And you got Miles Frazier off of LSU. LSU has studs for a line.
Yeah.
Marcus and Booth out of Purdue is supposed to be really good. But, these are your guards. Your guards could, they can really, really – and then there's Wyatt Millen. I think Pittsburgh should look at Wyatt Millen, 6'7", 313 out of West Virginia. Put him right next to his buddy, the center. But that's just my thinking. But, guards are, and more importantly, being, regarded as extremely important. That guard, center guard, if you're able to keep that pressure, right up the middle, which quarterbacks hate. Quarterbacks don't mind it from the left and the right because they can adjust in the pocket. But if that comes right at the middle, a la Jalen Carter and the other massive human being in Philadelphia who just wreck games right up the middle. So, these are some big boys. Tyler Booker, he's 6'5", 321. He could take on Jalen Carter, I think. So these guards, I think, are super important. All right, start us off there, John.
Well, for me, after Booker, I really like Donovan Jackson from Ohio State. He's the one from Ohio State. I'd love to have him play guard for me and probably play guard for as long as he stays healthy for 10 years worth. I think that guy's really good. I like him a lot. But for me, Booker, I think he's he's the clear top guard in my eyes. But then I like Jackson. It's funny with guards, right? How big does a guard? A guard needs to be heavy. And you want him to be heavy, right? Height doesn't really make too much as a guard. You have 6'8" guard, 6'6" guard. That's kind of, that's a little.
Guy Becton, they moved him to guard, and he flourished.
Right.
He's 6'7" or 6'8", right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. I'm thinking the way you are, John, because you took your team with Caleb. Caleb's going to have a hard time. He's got 6'7" and 6'7",
Well,
right.
Yeah, generally your guards are still, height-wise, they're maybe a little bit. They're not like a tackle. Especially pulling guards. You want a lower self
Center of gravity.
I almost said self gravity.
Same thing. It's your self-center of gravity.
Yeah, I guess it is.
But you look across you look across the top guards in the one I'm looking at, and it's 6'5", 6'5", 6'7", 6'4", 6'6".
Right.
I mean, these guys are all huge now.
Yeah.
But I would be thinking, if you want those seam routes to open up, you want that tunnel to throw through. That's tough with those guards being that tall.
You know what?
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
I got to take back something, because if Calvin Banks is a guard, then now that's a big deal to me. I mean, I don't know. I've seen it both ways, so maybe it's either or. I don't know. But
And on this one, they have Donovan Jackson as a 6-rated tackle.
Yeah, so everything's mixed up. I don't know what's happening, but
I think they're just projecting where they would be best at, maybe.
Right.
I mean, these are kind of, for me, guard, center, guard are kind of interchangeable. It's tough when a tackle comes into the center position and sometimes the guard position. But guard, center, guard for me is basically the same person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's your IOLs, your interior offensive lineman. It's
Exactly.
interchangeable.
Yeah. It's tough for those tackles. So, I mean, and the guards, when do they come off the board? Because I don't know if a lot of them, I don't know if they go in the first round.
You might have one go in the first round. I think Tyler Booker could go in the first round.
Yeah. Toward the late part, you think? Early part, what do you think?
I think late.
Yeah.
There's also that kid out of, but he's listed as a center. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But and guards, I mean, they're paying guards. I mean, tons and tons of money. Nick Martin, that was from Dallas. They paid him a ton of money. You got the kid from the Notre Dame kid that's in Indianapolis right now. They pay him a lot of money. So it's important to have that guard, center guard, like I said, because of those defensive tackles, because they're just unbelievably massive human beings. Which does, God knows what that's going to do to the quarterback at that point. But so guard, here we go. Guard. I'm going to give you the over/under. Billy, you pick first. I'm going to say 2. Over or under, Billy, or push?
I'm going to push.
John?
I got to go. Push as well. I think, because I can see Booker and Jackson if those are guards gone.
Again, we all know it depends on the flow and the ebb and flows and the run.
I want to throw another guy out there. Tate Ratledge, I think, is a good one as well. He had a 5-second 40-yard, 32-inch vertical, I believe.
That's so big.
He's a good. He got, when it comes to athleticism, he scored pretty high.
And to your point, Bill, if he's running a 4.97 and pulling, he's pulling 4.97 with 308 pounds.
You're right. Exactly. Yeah. Right.
It's like
That's
a monster.
my point. That's my point. I mean, he's in the top 3. I think he's your number 3. Right behind Banks. Which Banks, they have him listed as a tackle on what I'm looking at. But I guess But my number 1's Tyler Booker. He's my number 1 when it comes to guards.
Yeah.
When you look at it,
Ratledge, holy Lord, 4.97.
Yeah, I mean, you
a 1.7210. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, you can't overlook those numbers, man.
No,
but I mean, Tyler Booker, he's, that sheer strength. He's built like a freaking ox, dude.
I'll tell you what, that kid from Arizona though, he's a 4.95.
Yeah,
he's 6'4", 324.
But Tyler Booker, he gets on a team that kind of runs downhill, has a kind of downhill run scheme. He'll be able to, fully leverage that frame and that power. So
especially pulling. Good Lord.
So
I mean, these guys, I was always taught with these guys, look at their 10. So the 2 fastest 10s are the kid from Georgia and the kid from Arizona. They're running a 1.72. That's really fast, because that's what that's your pulling guards, man. That's really super fast.
Yeah,
that's insane. That is just crazy how fast they are with their size. All right, we're gonna move. We're gonna keep moving, gentlemen. Now we're gonna move into the center of the team. Very, very important. These centers could be amazing. This can set your team up for unbelievable success. I.e., look in the NFL at the great centers and how they do. Look at Kansas City, loves the center. Look at Jason Kelsey. replaced. They handpicked his center. So, I mean, very important in this day and age, especially for quarterbacks who are mobile. And if they want to keep running the tush, my push, your push, his push, our push, whatever the hell it is, brotherly shove. So those are very important. So we look at the centers, and the top rated one is Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State. This kid is unbelievable. I mean, he played every position on the line in at North Dakota State. And then the one I'm interested in is Seth McLaughlin. Because you did Seth McLaughlin at Ohio State. So that one's kind of interesting. So, Bill, you start us off this time with centers.
Well, I like Gray Zabel as well. He's the number one in my book. And correct me if I'm wrong, but he played a lot of tackle too, didn't he?
Played tackle.
Yeah, and I think he played all 5 positions. If I remember,
yeah.
So
which is hugely impressive, especially when you're going left and right. And invaluable for an NFL team. You draft one, you get you get 5 for one. So impressive.
Well, yeah, and I mean he's one of those guys that kind of could provide you depth, especially if you're a team that's in a pinch. With your line, he's So, I mean, he could, you're looking at a guy that could develop into a long-term starter as a guard or center, So
look at the kid from Georgia, Jared Wilson.
I was just gonna say I like Jared Wilson,
man.
Yeah, he's another. Yep, I like him a lot
That's
as well.
good.
Yeah, he's my number 2 right behind Zabel.
Yeah. So. And John, what do you make of the Ohio State kid, Seth McLaughlin? He's pretty damn good.
Well, remember at Alabama, he couldn't snap the ball. He had all that trouble where he could not do it. And then the Rose Bowl, what happened to him? And so then he transferred to Ohio State and he tore his Achilles, which unfortunately he didn't finish. He wasn't there. So he's coming back from all that. He'll probably, he's got that stuff about him, intangibles, I guess you'd say. I don't know about the size, 6'4", 305, fine. I'm not sure on speed. Well, he's got Achilles tear. So
I totally forgot about that dude.
Yeah, he at one point he was like the Remington whatever awards guy back at Alabama.
Yeah.
And then once he couldn't snap the ball anymore, he had to leave, so he went to Ohio State. And unfortunate because he was doing well there and he tore his Achilles.
That sucks.
So I'm not sure where he ends up going, but he could make someone happy later.
Yeah, he sounds like a project. He's got a 3rd to 4th round grade on him. I mean, I totally did not put that together, that he was that guy. That's weird. That happens to people sometimes, but he got better at it and corrected it. Stopped rolling the ball.
Yeah, he had that, I don't know what the hell happened. That was crazy how that happened. It reminded me of, guys that can't throw to first base.
Right.
He just couldn't do it, man. He was rolling the ball back to him, and that play against the Rose Bowl, that was the last play where Jalen Milroe, I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
And so then he came to Ohio State. It was going well, but then the Achilles. So,
yeah, I think it's kind of a weakish center draft. I think the prize is Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State. I don't think I would put the number at 1 over under. Billy, what do you think?
Yeah,
I might even go under.
I'm going under.
I'd go under. Yeah.
Yeah, I think somebody's going to get a steal in Zabel if they get him top of the 2nd round, because I think that guy can play. I mean, anybody who plays multiple positions here is going to be interesting.
Well, like I said, he's like the Swiss Army knife. Like I said, if you're a team, he can play all 5 positions. If you're a team that has like you said, you're in a pinch, to replace an injured lineman. He's your guy that can,
Yeah. So I'm looking at one mock draft. We'll just go over it real quick. We got time. Yeah, we got plenty of time. Good 10 minutes. So the way this mock draft goes, and they're all different. We know, Mel Kiper hates them. A lot of people hate them. Pat Curran hates them. But it's just interesting to see because the ones I do are AI generated. So it's not human involvement. It's just what the AI thinks. And this one's pretty decent. It's got Cam Ward 1, Abdul Carter 2. And then it's got an interesting thing for New York. They're taking Will Campbell at 3. I don't think that's too high, but it'll be interesting because, they do need to protect their quarterback. And maybe that's what, will allow Russ to cook. But I don't know. But and then we have 4, which this one shocks me. New England at 4 taking McMillan, which I don't think they need to do that. What do you think?
No.
I don't know. And then the next one they have to know is they got Armand Membo going to the Jets at 7. I could see that.
Yes, that would probably be smart for them instead of doing something like tight end, because I don't know. Again, these teams that stink, when you're winning 4 games, you're winning 5 games, you're terrible.
Yeah.
Go to the lines. That's why you're terrible. It's not the guys on the out. It's none of that. That's why
they try to build from outside to in. I'm with you. You build inside to out.
Outside to in, you lose. You just lose. I mean, the Bears. Oh my God, they were going to MVPs all around. Everybody got everything, and it sucked because it just didn't work. So it's got to be the lines. I didn't realize it until I watched the Bears for the first time in a long not have it. When you don't have guards that can play every day and a center who you never know is going to play center every time you turn on the TV, you're done pretty much.
Right.
So
right on this one, they have the Bears taking Genty at 10, which I don't know if I'd do that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, John?
No,
and there you go. There you have it. I mean, that's what that'd just be stupid again. We're stupid again because the guys you got in free agency. You don't know. You got an old guy in Tooney, really, from KC. Jonah Jackson was horrible last year. And, he was good with the Lions, but bad with the Rams. So bad, they cut him. So you got to get an offensive line. And Drew Dahlman, fine. They finally got their center, it appears, and one they might have for some years. But if they don't take an offensive line, or defensive line's fine. I'd be good with that, but.
Yeah,
he's running back. That shit. I don't know, man. You could get when there's so many. Get a running back later on. If you're
so many in this draft. I agree.
Yeah.
On this one, this is an interesting one. We didn't talk about this. They have Miami taking Tyler Warren, the tight end from Penn State. That's interesting, I think, because they lost a couple pieces, and they got what's his name going crazy now.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? You think that's a good move for Miami?
I think it's a good move for anybody to pick him up.
Right. But do you think does it fit their offense? Do we think? I mean, they're kind of running back base, kind of.
Yeah.
It feels like Tua could use a good something like that. I don't know what, but maybe it doesn't work. I don't know. I don't know. And their coach, I'm not quite sure what they do. Honestly, I'm confused by Miami sometimes.
They don't usually utilize tight ends in Miami.
They had Gesicki. He did pretty well there.
Yeah.
Until he moved on to Cincinnati. But I'm trying to think when he was
they never really replaced him.
I know.
They don't really. That's what I'm saying. In the last year, they haven't really utilized tight ends.
Right.
I think a good fit would be New York, the Jets.
At 7
for Tyler Warren. Yeah.
I think that's. I'm going to go to the luxury one with that. That's a luxury pick for them. They need so much on both lines, though. I could see them doing it. You're right. I could, Billy.
Yeah.
Oh, they could do it. Yeah, they're one of those teams that don't give a damn. They'll do it.
What about Carolina, Billy? What do you think about Carolina taking him?
Yeah, they could take him too.
I mean, that's a comfort.
What about Tennessee taking him?
Yeah, not that high though.
No, they're probably not that high. They're not going to take him that high. Yeah,
not at a 1, but I mean, I could see giving a security blanket for.
Well, we know Cam Ward's going to Tennessee.
Someone trades up to get him, maybe. Wouldn't the Broncos look good or something? I don't know. I could just feel like that would look good.
Yeah,
in Denver,
that would, because he threw to his tight ends a lot. Bo Nixon. That'd be an interesting pick. Who's our next offensive person? They got let's see. They got Loveland going to the Buccaneers. What do you guys think about that?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they don't really have a named tight end. It's kind of by committee there.
Yeah,
maybe
that's why they're looking at him.
Yeah, their weapons they don't have many weapons. Well, really, I mean, they don't. I don't know. They don't. They're a weird. Another one, and maybe it's because they're in Florida. I don't know what it is, but another team that I don't really. I don't know. Like they're just nothing. I don't know. They're good. They are good.
Right.
They're like Baker, but they're just kind of. Yeah, they could use something like that.
I mean, I think
that'd be good.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they have at 21, they have the Steelers taking Josh Simmons out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
Which maybe they're not in love with Broderick Jones anymore. I don't know.
I can't.
No, I don't. I don't think they are. We've been talking about that for a while now.
You guys do a Pittsburgh show, so this is going to be just me way outside of it. And I'll tell you, man, I don't know what the hell's going on. It almost is Bears-like activity. And I wouldn't suspect it from them, but that's how it feels. We're starting to get into that
Well,
territory.
that's really hitting below the belt.
No,
Jeez.
I'm sorry, but it just looks. It sort of reminds me of. I'm like, what is
No,
going on?
I
Why?
know. No, you're
Hasn't-
right. It's ridiculousness.
I mean,
It truly is. I agree. I
and you
mean,
can't work. And you know what it is too with the quarterback situation. I was thinking about it with the Steelers, the Bears, the Jets. Not so much the Steelers,
Well-
Bears, Jets. I was thinking of it. You can't develop them, but you got to get lucky. I mean, the Bills couldn't develop anyone. They had Trent Edwards, this guy, that guy, Rob Johnson, everybody you could think of, and they could never get it right since Kelly. I mean, you got to have. Not only do you have to develop them, you got to have someone who can be developed, I guess, too. You know what I mean? So
no, I think you summed it up perfectly. It has to involve luck.
there's a lot of luck there with Josh Allen. I mean, good for him. They're the ones that did it and did what they had to do, whatever. But I don't know. Pittsburgh's it's wild. I just don't understand. Has Rodgers have said nothing, right, Bill or guys?
No.
Really?
Well, I
Nothing.
mean, he's met with he was at the Steelers facility. He
Right.
worked out with DK Metcalf. I really thought that he was gonna, last night McAfee comes out and says, he hinted that Rodgers might be there, and it turns out he wasn't. He has till the draft. But he has to. There has to be a decision made before the draft. Period.
Do you remember? Do you guys remember when Favre went to Minnesota? I think it was, and I had to see the airplane. No one knew what was going on. They had the airplanes coming in. Is he on the plane? Rodgers is doing that.
It's like freaking when the Pope looking for the freaking smokestack to see if smoke comes out of the freaking thing. Like, it's ridiculous at this point in time. I'm so sick of this. I want it to end. I want it to end, please, for the love of God, end.
It's not going to end until after the draft. He has no incentive to sign in the next 13 days.
Hey, I tell you what, we'll be talking about it next. But Sidney Crosby threw a perfect spiral through that circle.
Oh,
Billy, that circle was as big as a Mack truck. How the hell did Skeens miss it?
Bring him in.
He missed it twice.
I can't believe that. I think any one of us could have hit that shot. The thing was huge. But anyway, I digress. All right, the next offensive player they have in this mock draft, as they have, which I think is a brilliant pick, is a Minnesota taking Tyler Booker, offensive guard Alabama. I think that's brilliant. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, they get better. Sure. They get better with that.
Definitely.
Yeah, I do too. And the next one they have Houston, this is an interesting one, taking Luther Burden. I think that's a smart pick.
Yeah. Yeah. They need something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And then they have Detroit taking Emeka Egbuka. That's another one. That's going to be Jamison Williams, Egbuka, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's a tough matchup right there.
It's interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that'd be a tough one. And they rounded out with the second to last pick with Kansas City, brilliantly taking Gray Zabel. I think that's a brilliant pick for them. Jack Paul trades, Swiss Army knife, and they get him at 31. I think that's unbelievable.
I do too. I think that'd be great. I think somewhere in this draft, though, I don't know if it'd be the second round or if they trade up or if they need. I think they could use a difference maker at running back. They might need that here this year.
Yeah, but I mean, we talked about it. I think there are a ton. That are going to be available. I mean, that's also a position they could take somebody like an Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina if he's still left, because that guy can move.
Yeah.
But I think taking Gray Zabel, I mean, come on,
that's good.
They've had trouble at every position. They've had injuries at every position, and this kid's a player with a chip on his shoulder.
Perfect. Yeah.
I think that's a pretty damn good pick for them, because you're just going to get the quality. I mean, you get this guy who was offered tons of money. Tons of NIL money to leave North Dakota State, and he said he wanted to keep winning championships. And what they do, they won the championship. So, I mean, kind of gonna like that kid, at least in my eyes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the offense is now complete for the draft. Next week we'll do the defense, and now it is time for us to pick some games. It is time to pick games. We haven't done this in a while. Last week they were undefeated, and the week before that they were undefeated because we didn't pick them till after. So that's fantastic. All right, so we're going to start with William. On Friday night, Billy, we have the Renegades and the Stallions playing. The Renegades are 2-0. Stallions are 1-1. The Birmingham Stallions are favored 3.5. I don't know if what's his name, Magoo, is back or not. He got hurt last game, so I don't know if he's because Matt Corral stepped in. I don't know if he's back or not. But Billy, who wins that game and why?
I'm going with the Stallions. They had a pretty good bounce back performance against the Panthers last week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Stallions on that. So,
John?
I'm going to go with Birmingham as well. I hope they're the Stallions. Sorry.
John doesn't know UFL, obviously.
Not yet. I'm getting there. I'm too embroiled in hockey. But yes,
Yeah,
I am reading. I got a map here, so I know. I was just joking.
All right. Next game we have Saturday afternoon at 2:30. We got the Roughnecks against the Showboats. Battle of defeated teams. Somehow Memphis is a 4.5-point favorite. Somebody has to win this game, John. Who wins it?
Yeah.
Memphis is at home. This is a tough one. These are teams that
Got Leroy Shaner, Pittsburgh. Hi, everybody.
Hey, I'm going to go with Memphis. Memphis wins at home. Memphis it
is. Billy.
I'm going with the under.
Ooh.
Oh.
Little roughneck.
I mean, both teams are winless. They're struggling offensively. I say, what is it? Under 36.5, I think it is. I'm going with the under.
Who's winning the game though?
We'll go with Memphis.
Okay, Memphis and Billy likes the
Houston's terrible. God, they're terrible. That first game against Arlington, holy God, it was terrible. They were god awful.
Yeah.
This is where they were really, really bad.
All right, next game, John, we got the Brahmas, San Antonio Brahmas, who are also winless, taking on the Michigan Panthers in Michigan. Michigan's a 5.5-point favorite. Really low, over under at 36.5. Who wins that one?
I'll take the points in San Antonio.
Woo! Billy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'll take the points as well. I'm same as John.
All right, now we have the highlight of the weekend. Two teams that always play well. You have the DC Defenders 2-0 going into Santa Louis and facing the Battlehawks. This should be a good game. St. Louis is favored 4.5. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 6.5. Over under 38.5. DC's defense is back. Battlehawks can score. This is probably the best game. 3:00 ABC on Sunday. Billy, who you got?
I'm going to go with the Battlehawks on this one.
I think that's a smart move, William.
They've had the edge over DC, pretty much in every aspect, really. So
yeah, I mean they faced
both teams are undefeated, so it's gonna be a good game, I think.
Yeah, these are the two best teams in the UFL right now. John, who you got?
Yeah. Give me the points and DC.
Ooh, my man likes the points in DC.
Yeah, I'll take that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you must tune in. You will make money. Cash, homie. Straight cash, homie. These guys can pick games with a spread or without a spread. That'll do it for tonight. It was an awesome night. We hope we increased your knowledge, which we did in the draft. Next week, it's going to be defense. We're going to start from the front, and we're going to go to the back because we believe building inside out, not outside in on this show. All right, gentlemen, great job. Thousands of points for each one of you. Both win. And lights out buttons.